Gentlemen, welcome to the greatest fictitious college football show in the world, Craig. Um, we've been off for a minute, but we came back, decided to start this back up. We are in season 2. We're covering weeks 5, 6, and 7, I believe, with the banners we got today. Um, with that being said, first and foremost, it's good to be back. It's good to be doing this. Gonna have some fun this morning. Run through some of these scores. If I get something wrong, my bad. Blame it on my setup, just not on my heart. But I'm gonna try to cover everybody's game as best as possible. And let's just go ahead and jump into the scenario already. We had Notre Dame play Maryland. Maryland, uh, the losers, 24-0. Total offense here looks like Maryland was held to 125 yards. Total offense for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish was 269. 19 rushes, 125 yards, 2 TDs. I don't know if you guys have seen the Irish play yet, but the Irish have one big monster of a fullback, Mr. Mark Edwards Jr., the wears number 44. He's like 6'5", 255, 275. Looks like an offensive lineman running the football, basically, guys. Didn't get much done through the air. 144 for Notre Dame. Looks like it's 134 for Maryland. So Notre Dame ranked 8th at this time and at this point. They win 24-0, and we head on to the next battle in the schedule. The next bowl game is Minnesota taking on Penn State. Minnesota beats Penn State 10-7. This looks like one of those games where the computer refused to lose. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want the NCAA mad at me, but Minnesota puts up 211 yards of total offense. Looks like they had 40 rushing yards, 171 passing. On the Penn State side, it was 189 yards of total offense, 129 on the ground with 1 TD. Looks like they had about 60 yards passing in this ball game. So it looks like it was a struggle. Penn State struggled to move the ball, and it cost them at the end. And right now, Penn State's ranked 14 based on that week of the season. We get the Alabama kid back. He throws up 44 on Nebraska. Nebraska scores 41. Looks like we went into overtime here, couple of overtime periods. 417 yards of total offense for Nebraska. Looks like we got 96 yards and 2 TDs from the Cornhuskers. They threw for 321 yards. Stats is kind of similar. On the other side of the ledger, we have 67 yards rushing with 1 TD, and it looks like we had 324 yards passing. Both teams looked like they were hardly off the field. Nebraska was 5 of 8 on third down, and it looks like Alabama was 6 of 9 on third down conversions. So it looks like we had us a barn burner here. 44 for Alabama, 41 for Nebraska. And at the time, Alabama was the 4th ranked team. This is the first time for me reporting on this team, the Memphis Tigers, coached by young BJ, BJ's son, giving this his first try. He lost 14-7. Looks like he can put up some offense, 287 yards of offense, 29 yards passing, 258 through the air. He gave up only 106 passing and 16 rushing. This looks like a scenario where maybe turnovers did him in. I don't see the stat for the turnovers, but that's what I'm going to guess because it looks like Army didn't really move the ball on him. He just struggled getting points after he moved the ball down the field. Let's go to the next ball game. This is Coach Powell and the South Carolina Gamecocks taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. Score was 45-20. As I've been watching this recently, looks like Coach is starting to find his groove, starting to find his niche with his team, starting to become one thing, man. So South Carolina 45 points, Kentucky 20. Total offense is 452 yards for South Carolina. Big day on the ground, 255 yards rushing, 197 through the air. Looks like we had four rushing touchdowns and 2 passing. On the Kentucky side of the ledger, it's 309 yards of total offense. Looks like we got 73 yards rushing and about 236 yards through the air. With that being said, I think the next game closes out the week, if I remember correctly. That's Indiana, number 24. Indiana gets number 1, Michigan. Michigan is coached by Coach Darnell. Um, score score for Michigan was 45-35. Indiana 35 points, 336 yards total offense, 73 yards on the ground, 2 TDs. Looks like Indiana also had 263 yards passing with 3 TDs there. On the Michigan side of the ledger, we get total offense 458. You get 282 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. That's par for the course. Coach Darnell is one of the stalwarts when it comes to the running game. In the passing game, looks like we had 176 yards passing, 6 for 10 on third down. Indiana was 2 of 6 on third down. The next game up on the schedule, it's the Virginia Tech Hokies versus the Clemson Tigers. Clemson Tigers are coached by Coach Marcus. He been telling Coach Powell he need to call plays. He's starting to put some info out there. Well, maybe he should get some play calls here or there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not lobbying for it, but I'm just saying that might be an option for him. With that being said, score 35-17. Virginia Tech 17 points scored, 201 yards total offense. Looks like we have 15 yards rushing, so the defense was stout, and 186 yards passing. On the Clemson side, 35 points, 350 yards. Averaging yards per play is 10.3. I see you, coach. 108 on the ground, 2 TDs, 242 through the air, with also 2 more TDs that go along with that. I think we move into the next week because we got number 14 Penn State playing Rutgers at this point. Rutgers loses 41-7. 7 points for Rutgers, 229 of total offense. Looks like we have 43 yards rushing, passing yards 186. On the Penn State side, here's another team. Stalwarts were running the game. Coach Rodney, 382 total offense, 311 yards on the ground with 4 TDs. That says it all right there. 71 yards passing, but only 7 pass attempts. They tried to run this ball and run this ball and run this ball. Next up, it's the number 10 Texas Longhorns, coached by the boss man B, against number 19 Vanderbilt. Scores 38-3. As you can see, the Vandy offense didn't put up much of a fight. 122 yards of total offense. Looks like we got 106 of those yards through the air, only 16 on the ground. Boss man doing it through the air like always, 318 with 5 touchdowns passing. Looks like the rushing yards was 114, but no TDs. And that's kind of what you get there in that scenario, baby. The next game up on the ledger, we got Iowa against Michigan, number 1 Michigan. Again, this is Coach Darnell. Score was 24-0. Total offense 224 yards. Looks like we have 211 through the air, 13 on the ground for Iowa. On the Michigan side has 90 yards rushing, 1 TD. Looks like that 1 TD through the air. So I'm guessing another TD was probably a defensive touchdown. 156 yards passing. Pretty simple, pretty easy game right there for Coach Darnell. Looks like he had to struggle with it a little bit, but pulled it out. We got number 5 Oregon against Nebraska. And in this one, Oregon 35 points. Nebraska gets 3. Total offense for Nebraska 124. Total of 5 rushing yards on 22 carries. Ouch. 119 yards through the air. On the total offense side for Oregon, 337. 196 rushing yards, 3 TDs, and it looks like we got 141 passing yards total. Slow game through the air. The coach is normally he has a mixed bag. He can go. He can do passing and rushing. Here we go. Number 8, Notre Dame goes against Stanford. Looks like Notre Dame pulls away late with a big fourth quarter. 100 total 2 yards total offense for Stanford. Of course, they had no points. Looks like they averaged minus 0.2 yards per rush through the air, 105 yards. Big stat is third down, 1 of 8 on third down for them. On the Notre Dame side, 23 rushes, 98 yards, 1 TD. Looks like they got 171 yards passing through the air. Looks like Notre Dame just dominated this performance, dominated this ball club, and dominated this game. It's not too much I can add to that. Let's go ahead and head to the next game. Next game up, we get Mississippi State against Oregon State. Oregon State is ranked number 2. Wow. This is Isaiah, who's new to the league. It's his team. I haven't gotten a chance to see him play. I think he's one of our Twitch players. So if you don't catch the game right away or when it's live, you tend to miss out on the ball game. But he had 313 yards of total offense. Looks like 141 yards rushing, 172 through the air. Looks like he had 4 air touchdowns. So it looks like he's a passer. I want to check him out again, get a better look at what his game looks like, and see how they play. Mississippi State, 13 yards, 213 the total offense. Looks like we had 221 yards passing for Mississippi State. Final score, 37-13. Congrats, Isaiah, on the big win. Let's go ahead to the next game. Oh, we get the Alabama kid. Greeting Coach Powell and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Looks like this was a real good ball game. Came down to the end. 24-21 Alabama. 41 yards rushing, 1 TD, 268 yards through the air, 2 TDs in the air. For Coach, looks like Coach had 226 total, 70 yards passing, 147 on the ground with 2 TDs. Looks like Coach was doing okay. And then Alabama just came out and pulled this one out at the end. I wish I gotten to see this one. I might go back and see if it's Coach's game, then it's not going to be there. And then we skip ahead to week 7, which is, I think, the week we're currently on. And the week is still in progress. If anybody's out there watching, you can update me on this. We had North Carolina play South Carolina. Again, Coach Powell bouncing back from the week earlier defeat to Alabama. 38-13. 241 yards of total offense. 301 for South Carolina. It looks like North Carolina had negative 2.5 yards rushing. Ouch. But they had 288 passing yards. On the South Carolina side, he had 301 total offense, 100 yards rushing, 4.2 a carry, 5 touchdown passes, 201 yards. Looks like third down wasn't good for either team, but looks like Coach didn't need that to come through to take the win. Let's take this game next. We got Maryland 6, Ohio State 13. And I took this out of order because I saw the next 2 ball games. So I want to just kind of break down and look at those a little bit differently. Maryland 6 yards rushing. 6 points total. Looks like 146 through the air. Looks like they had a negative 2.9 rushing. Ohio State 14 points, 260 of offense. Looks like he had 48 yards rushing, 212. This is Coach Day. He's also a Twitch user. The thing I noticed with Day is he's definitely from the school of Greg Williams because he likes to get after the quarterback a lot. And with a secondary like he has at Ohio State, I can see why. But he's going to be an interesting person to watch as we go along through this and see how his game either changes or stays the same But I know one thing: he likes to blitz. That's the way it looks. Now, I only saw one game of his, but that's what I could tell early on from the results that I saw. Now let's get to some of the rivalries here. This is Coach Rodney and Coach Darnell. If you don't know about our chat, we have a chat. Everybody's in the chat, and the funny part is these are the two biggest talkers in the chat. They always go back and forth. They've played for years now, and the score 21-7. I was able to watch most of this. Tight ball game all the way, and then a couple of big mistakes changed the outcome of the ball game. I think there was a late interception while Coach Rodney was driving, which kind of changed the landscape of the ball game. But it's pretty evenly matched, as you can see from the numbers. 106 yards rushing for Penn State, 109 for Michigan. Again, these are our two big teams on the run game. So they matched up there. Penn State had 161 yards passing. Michigan had 105. This ball game was tight. Like I said, to the end, I think there was an interception or two towards the end that kind of changed the outcome of this ball game. So for right now, it looks like Coach Darnell has the bragging rights over Penn State. And then the other big game matches up the Boss Man and KG. Saw some of this, didn't get all the chance to watch all of it. Boss Man looks like he pulled away towards the end. He looks like he handled the rushing attack from Notre Dame. Notre Dame with only 3 yards rushing or minus 3 yards rushing. That hurts because that's heavy of what they rely on. 188 passing yards for the Fighting Irish. On the Texas side of the ledger, 29 points, 318 yards, a total offense, 62 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 256 yards passing. That's kind of par for the course for them. They do like to get up and down the field a little bit. But that said, I'm trying to catch my breath here, take a quick break. You are watching the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I am the Midnight Rider. This is the Gridiron. Check out this quick video. That's a quick video, something new, package that we put together last night. Credit to the boss man BJ for putting that together, having it ready for me this morning. But if you don't know who we are, that's who we are, the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. We bring you a slate of shows all throughout the weekend. Tonight, after this goes off, tonight at 9 p.m., you get the mothership, you get the flagship of the station, the WrestleManiacs. Tomorrow morning, you get to start your morning off with the Sunday Rise, 11 o'clock, where we do the nickel, taking you through the 5 best NFL games and recap the trio. Then we come back with the Monday slate, and I'll do Monday slate on tomorrow because I don't want to mix up the nights. I don't know if the drive time is back at 5 on Mondays or if this week is Tuesday at 5. So we'll get you that later on as we get going. The key to this, though, this is the Gridiron. This is something we do for fun. If you're not familiar with the Sideline Junkies, come check us out. You got us tonight. You got us tomorrow morning. We got a good slate of shows, good slate of podcasts. And all we're trying to do is get you through the greatest fictitious college football show in the world. With that being said, I don't have much more information for you. I thought I was going to get a coach tonight, but we're going to do a short show tonight. In the words of Doc, we don't do no overtime. We're going to keep it real short and sweet today. We're going to be out of here, so we're going to get you ready again tonight, 9 o'clock, WrestleManiacs. Today, the rest of this is we got one thing for you. If you're interested in joining the league, we always tell you that if you want the smoke, we got the cigar and the lighter. Just come on through, reach out to one of the fellas. We'll get you connected. You can pick your team and you can jump right in. You don't have to wait till we start a new season. You can jump right in mid-season and finish out the season. I know that's what Day did, and I think that's what Isaiah did. So come on across, come on in. If you have Twitch, you can live stream your game on Twitch. If you have YouTube, you live stream your game on YouTube. It just makes it more fun for the fellas because we get to sit back and watch the games and enjoy the league ourselves while somebody else is playing. I never thought I'd do that until we started this league. But with that being said, this is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This is the Gridiron. We thank you for your viewership. And we are going to be out of here because we don't do no overtime. This is probably one of the shortest shows I've ever done. Folks, have a good evening. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the real college football games that are playing now, starting at 12. So good night. Have a great day. See you tomorrow for the Sunday Rise, or we see you later on this evening for the WrestleManiacs.